Hello, hello, and welcome. We are continuing on with our exploration of Limsa Lominsa. So you're the Bella I've been hearing so much about. 'Tis a pleasure indeed to finally meet you in the flesh. The name's Baderon, and this most hospitable of hostelries is the Drowning Wench. 'Tis a place where adventurers like yourself gather to rest up, listen to the latest gossip, and take on any task what need doing. And in this day and age, there ain't no shortage of tasks what need doing. I hope you're good and ready to pitch in, lass. Welcome to the Drowning Wench, a place to leave your cares and troubles behind. I'll say that again, your cares and your troubles. You'll be taking the contents of your innards with you, and you'll not find the wench so welcoming on your next visit. When you're seeking someone for a feat you need done, to the Venturers Guild you'll be calling. No deed beyond dare, so long the coin be fair. To their graves be the venturins fallen. Who's your guest? That looks nummy. The Drowning Wench will always be a favorite among pirates. She's cheap, she is loaded with grog, and she never says no. It's been a favorite haunt of adventurers for nigh on 20 years, ever since a retired freelance and his comrades established the Adventurers Guild here. If it is rumors or like-minded fellows you seek, then you have made the right choice in coming to this tavern. It is as a lodestone for all manner of travelers and explorers. Welcome to the Drowning Wench. You need anything, you just give me a shout. What do you do here? I serve the louts and drunkards that stumble in through the door. Baderon, the owner, quit the mercenary life to open this place, but he's still more comfortable holding a blade than a mop, so I take care of whatever cleaning needs doing as well. It's a damn sight better than what I was doing after the calamity hit, let me tell you. Lost about as much as a person can lose and spent my nights puking cheap ale into the gutter. Baderon found me passed out outside his place one morning, so he took me in, cleaned me up, and helped me swear off the worst of the grog. It's not that I'm working to pay off the favor, you see. More like I just started pitching in with the chores one day and then never got around to leaving. The Drowning Wench, that's a little morbid, isn't it? Morbid? Only if you think that lass is drowning in water. Her name has more to do with sinful amounts of ale than aught else, and that's how the sailors and scoundrels in here like it. We see more than a few adventurer types as well, and that keeps Baderon busy wiping noses and handing out advice to greenhorns. He never could resist taking in the strays. He likes the stray kitties. Most seafarers, a bloke meets the rougher and barnacled hull, but these limits and scrags are something else. Suppose I should expect not less from a city what was founded by pirates. Okay, then you got the levy mate over there. Having been founded by pirates, Limsa's long been the hub for piracy, but those days are coming to an end, mark me words, and it's all for the greater good. Don't be wooed. Constable, I'm here to watch. Make sure nothing scandalous is happening. The sea breezes of Limsa are so refreshing. Quite a dramatic difference from the sultry winds of Volda. But I must remain detached, focused. I am here, you see, to survey the extent of the calamity's damage, but I often find myself overwhelmed by the unfamiliar sensations of this barbaric yet fascinating city. Lominsa is paradise for a culinarian, for by the grace of the pullers, we've the bounty of the sea close at hand. If only there were more bells in a day, I'd buy the whole guild's catch and cook to my heart's content. A sheepish request. Hlahono needs help replenishing the Bismarck's larders. I beg your pardons, good madam, but you are an adventurer, are you not? I realize this is sudden, but we urgently need help restocking our larders. We are in the midst of preparing a full-course meal for soon arriving guests, but I fear we are short on fresh lamb for the main course. I would be grateful if you could procure 4 slices for us. I dare say it would be quickest to obtain these directly from the source, wild lambs. In case you are unfamiliar with the creatures, I suggest you speak with Abelfar, a sentry stationed in Bulwark Hall, just below the Drowning Wench. Beg your pardons, good madam, but do you have a reservation? You don't? My sincerest apologies, but you must book in advance to dine at the Bismarck. Now I can sit anywhere I want. You got plenty of open spaces. The Bismarck has never been better than it is now, under Master Limsa's direction. Even such dishes as folk consider simple are prepared with loving attention to detail. These days, all too few establishments strive for this level of excellence. Whenever my business brings me to Limsa, I treat my manservant to a hearty meal here at the Bismarck. 'Tis the least I can do to reward him for his excellent service. Gods know I pay the fellow little enough. I like their clothes. The peasant tops. Yes, at some point I do want to be a chef. In spite of its prestige, the Bismarck also delivers meals to the customer's door. Master Limsa recently introduced this service that folk unable to secure a reservation might still enjoy our cuisine. I guess you just sell stuff. A 1,000 words. Letitia needs someone to report a bilking patron. We spare no effort to ensure that all our patrons enjoy the finest food and hospitality, and so it is doubly hurtful when someone decides to leave without settling the bill. Nary a Belago, a first-time patron, did just that. Sushomal is the one who lovingly prepared the man's meal. She is quite upset by the whole affair and has taken it upon herself to draw an illustration of the offender. Might I trouble you to deliver it to the Yellow Jackets on our behalf? How do you say these names? Sushmong should be done adding the finishing touches by now. Good Lord. The Bismarck prides itself on purveying the finest cuisine in all the realm, fit to grace the tables of kings and queens. Indeed, whenever foreign dignitaries come to Lominsa, our restaurant is the first to be called upon to cater the banquet. 'Tis true what they say, you are what you eat. Sadly, most folk fail to pay due heed to their diet. I must confess to being one of them. So engrossed do I become in seeing others fed, I often go long stretches without feeding myself. What brings you to our kitchen, venturer? Fancy learn about the culinary arts, maybe? What do you do here? Limsa's my name, and I'm head chef here at the Bismarck, the finest restaurant in all Eorzea. 'Tis my charge to make sure everyone as dines in all's leaves with a smile on their face. The job's mostly supervised and journeyman chefs at their work, but I try to fit in as much cooking as I can. That ain't all I do, though. I also happen to be master of the Culinarians Guild, which lives under this same roof. That role has me train aspiring culinarians, which is without a doubt me most rewarding endeavor. Don't matter if ye can't tell one end of the skillet from the other. If you're willing to learn, I'm more than willing to teach you. What are the culinary arts? There's some that say the culinary arts are just a lot of fancy cooking, but that's only the half of it. 'Tis true we take well-known dishes and raise them to mouth-watering nights, but when we ain't busy doing that, we're laboring to bring new tastes and textures into the world. Now, as you can probably imagine, both of the above call for a decent delving of experience and skill, but neither's worth a damn if ye ain't got passion. Our trade's as tough as old mutton, lass, and passion's the only thing what gets us through the grisly bits. When you pour your heart and soul into a dish only to have a patron call it slop, will you swallow your pride and start again, or will you run home crying? Words cut deeper than knives, venture, and when your pride's been hacked to shreds, passion's the only thing as keeps you standing in front of the stove. That's how it is for everything. Shishmo. I poured my heart and soul into that grilled dodo. If I ever get my hands on that scoundrel, I'll grind his bones to make my bread. Here it is, my rendition of the criminal. Please deliver it to Godebert at the Coral Tower. He will know what to do. There's a whale of a tale behind the name of this place. Well, it's the tale of a whale, actually. Bismarck devoured all that lay in this path, and the restaurant hopes its diners will follow suit. License to reeve. Morden would like to make you a completely legal proposition. You want for coin, venturer? How do you fancy working for the Kraken's Arms, one of the greatest pirating crews in Limsa? If you're interested, take yourself up these steps to the balcony above and talk to Carvalane, our captain. Do right by him and he'll do right by ye. The Kraken's arms reach far and wide, carrying back spices to sell at the Seventh Stage. Captain Carvalane watches over the business himself, when he's not busy watching over his crew. Yes, I do have business with your captain. Most folk think of Lominsa as a city of pirates, but a new era has ushered in a new breed of buccaneer. Are you interested in hearing more? What do you do here? I am General Aide and Mercantile Assistant to Carvalane, the captain of the Kraken's Arms. The Kraken's Arms, in case you were not aware, constitute one of the three great pirate powers to be found in Lominsa. Captain Carvalane himself is proficient in reading not only the currents of the ocean, but also in predicting an era's ebb and flow. The calamity and the destruction that followed forced many a pirate into early retirement, but not our captain. He seized the fluttering reins of the spice trade and amassed a veritable fortune. It is my hope to learn at the foot of this master and one day become his indispensable right-hand man. Tell me about Limsa's pirates. The city-state of Lominsa was originally founded by the sea wolves, that most piratical of people hailing from the seas to the north. The nation rose from humble beginnings, building itself up into one of the 6 great cities of Eorzea. And how was that accomplished, you might ask? Why, on a treasury filled by a folk that never relinquished its penchant for looting and pillaging. Although Lominsa's population grew larger and ever more diverse as immigrants drifted in from across the seas, piracy remained the mainstay of its industry. Thus did the city become known as a haven for brigands and bandits of all kinds. Tell me about the Admiral's pirate initiatives. As a citadel of scoundrels, Lominsa was held in low regard by the other cities of the realm, and while such perspectives may have proven irrelevant in former ages when conflict between the nations was commonplace, this new era demanded that Eorzeans band together or perish. Thus it was that Admiral Merowith outlawed piracy and put out a call for all citizens of Lominsa, pirate or not, to present a united front to their enemies. A pact known as the Galadian Accord was signed, and the nation went to war against the Empire. As a part of this agreement, the 3 great pirate powers, the Bloody Executioners, the Sanguine Sirens, and the Kraken's Arms, were issued leave to raid the vessels of the Garleans. Greetings, friend, and welcome to the 7th Sage, purveyors of the finest spices from the East. All of our products are guaranteed obtained through completely legal means. Oh, you do not seek spices, but employment? Well then, let us speak of how you might be of service to our organization. Our Misery returned from her latest voyage, bearing exotic spices never before seen in Eorzea. I have prepared 2 samplers, each of which I would have you deliver to certain individuals. The first is for Gnad, whom you will find at the Coral Tower. The second is for Master Limsa, the head chef of the Bismarck. And do make certain the right person gets the right set. Go now, and return here once you have accomplished the task. Lominsa is a place where a man's work and wits determine his worth, where an orphan can pull himself up by his bootstraps to one day lead the Kraken's Arms. If my family hadn't been murdered at sea, I'd have no doubt followed my fortune-telling father into a life of divination. Fate is a funny thing. The worst thing ever to happen to me was also the best. Every marauder goes through the same brutal training, and it's that sense of kinship that binds the guild together. I'm always willing to go the extra mile for a fellow axe wielder. Welcome to the headquarters of the Yellow Jackets, the keepers of the peace in Lominsa. Is there aught I can assist you with? 7th Sage Sampler, a set containing several exotic spices and instructions on how they can be used. Not something you would expect from the captain of a band of bloodthirsty pirates. A sample of spice courtesy of the 7th Sage, you say? There's no mistake. This is fire sand, and the kind used by the Garleans besides. Quite intriguing. Very well, we will consider placing an order. Oh, you thought that you had brought me spice? I see you are not familiar with Carvelianisms. For the sake of convenience, he uses the word spice to refer to literally anything he has procured on the high seas. Lest you worry, the man isn't engaged in any activity that is considered piracy. Far from it. Think of him as a trader, a heavily armed one, who represents Lominsan interests in eastern lands. Lost and found. Ganad seeks help with a growing problem in Lominsa. An alarming number of citizens have gone missing of late, though I suspect you've already heard the rumors. It is essential that we ascertain their safety. To this end, I have prepared a list based on reports from our citizens. Would you be so kind as to deliver it to my colleague in Bulwark Hall? Nudelica is her name. My thanks in advance, friend. This is the hive of the Yellow Jackets, keepers of the peace in Lominsa. We defend the common folk and they serve as our eyes and ears in turn. Order is preserved under the mandate of the people. Okay. A bilker at the Bismarck, and you have an artist's rendition of the man? Artist's rendition, drawing of a man, pieced together from descriptions given by eyewitnesses to his crimes most heinous. What in the seven hells is this supposed to be? Looks more like the prow of a ship than a man's face. Look, we would like nothing more than to bring the offender to justice. 'Tis our duty, after all. However, we will need a little bit more to go on than this piece of art. It would be easiest of all involved if Sushmo were to come here and answer some questions. Please relay to her as much. Is it like a Picasso painting? The Yellow Jackets used to be part of the Knights of the Barracuda, but we were swallowed into the maelstrom during the calamity. Our voyage through the maelstrom has hardened both our steel and our resolve. Are you interested in learning the art of the Marauder? What do you do here? I am Wernzone, and I train disciples at the Axe. Following the Admiral's reformation of this guild and the purging of its pirate influences, I was invited to don the mantle of Axemaster. It is an honor I accepted with the gratitude I continue to feel. Thanks to the Admiral's offer, I can now share my combat experience and skills with a new generation of marauders, instead of sitting in an alehouse and bemoaning the injury that removed me from the front lines of battle. What is the art of the Marauder? The art of the Marauder was first born in the crucible of brutal ship-to-ship skirmishes, found to be just as, if not more, effective on dry land. This fighting style relies on one's ability to properly direct the force generated by the axe's heavy blade. Thus, the techniques employed by a marauder seek to maximize the destructive potential to our chosen weapon. The axe is used to render, to cleave, and to destroy. It is not our way to simply outfight our adversaries. We seek to overwhelm them. A marauder must be the most powerful and enduring presence on the battlefield. We must account for the most enemies defeated. Our role in combat is that of a steel whirlwind, dealing death and destruction without equal. As Commodore of the Yellow Jackets, it is my duty to ensure the peace and security of Lominsa. The lives and livelihood of our citizens are my primary concern. Though marauders are renowned for their raw destructive power, I prefer to focus my energies on developing effective stratagems. The doctrine of overwhelming force that many follow has not always been successful, you see. Ancient Nim, in particular, is said to have defended itself from numerous invasions despite possessing only a token force of mariners and mages. Indeed, I believe there is much we can learn by studying the military tactics of old. I hope one day to pursue my brethren of this fact so that we might grow as an organization. Ah, so you've spoken with Goldbert? Within a bell, the Yellow Jackets will have that swindling scoundrel locked in a dungeon cell, and then I'll take my filleting knife and... Huh? Goldbert wants me to go to the Coral Tower for questioning? But what more information does he want that my drawing doesn't already provide? Isn't a picture supposed to paint 1,000 words? A new sample from the 7th stage. Alright, let's have a whiff of it then. 7th stage sampler, a set containing several exotic spices and instructions on how they can be used. Okay, it's the same thing. It smelled nothing like it before. The noise came with it says it's a root that grows on Othard. Last I heard, Othard was under Imperial rule. How the 7 Owls did Carveline manage to get hold of this? Any road, I reckon I can cook up some fresh and new with it. Thanks for the delivery, friend. Are you hoping to join our crew? You'll have to walk to the back of the line and wait your turn with these others. Perhaps the captain will like your face. Perhaps he'll pitch you over the wall. There are many and more willing to risk his fickle favor for a chance to serve on Limlane's most beloved ship. Hiring a crew. There ain't naught as boils me blood as the sight of an untrained whelp given free range at the forge. The work floor is akin to an armorer's battlefield, and you should bloody well steer clear if you ain't got the necessary skills. Your shoddy armors like to get some poor sod killed. Welcome, welcome. What brings you to the Blacksmith Guild? What do you do here? Oh, not much. I'm just Forge Master of this here guild. I ain't one to stand on ceremony though, so you can just call me Brithale. As for what old Brithale does, well, what I enjoy doing is looking after the new recruits, training them and whatnot. Of course, as an employee in Naldic and Vermelius, I've got a whole mess of other duties besides. For instance, making sure contracts get fulfilled and securing new ones. Fortunately, Forge Master Hananza, the Armorers Guild, usually handles that shit, else I wouldn't have time to keep me thirst at bay. What is blacksmithing? Well, in essence, you take some raw ore, smelt it into a hunk of metal, heat it till it's bleeding hot, and pound the hells out of it till it looks the way you want it. Or if you're asking about the difference between blacksmith and armoring, well, whereas armorers make armor, we smithies make weapons and tools. We're talking swords and lances, axes and pickaxes, needles and knives, sharp sticks. Well, maybe not sharp sticks. Anyway, to craft all that, you need to know how to work all manner of metals. Some folk think a strong arm's all it takes, but that ain't the half of it. You won't go far without the knowledge and technique essential to the craft. That, plus hard work and dedication. Aye, all that's key to blacksmithing. I joined the guild with the dream of following in Forge Master Hananza's footsteps. Every day brings another lesson in humility. Mayhap it isn't meant to be. Due to ongoing reconstruction, demand for guild steel has never been higher. But be that as it may, the Forge Masters cannot expect to maintain record profits without effort. If Naldic and Vermelius is to remain successful for decades to come, they must ever pursue new markets abroad. Alas, prosperity can dull a man's wits just as well as a stiff drink. The Rats in the Wharf. Hananza has a simple yet profitable task for an interested adventurer. Are you in need of some trifling task to pass the time? Then I have just the job for you. Baderon is offering a reward to any adventurer who slays at least 5 wharf rats. There's no shortage of the pests lurking outside the Tempest Gate, so you should hurry and take advantage of this opportunity. Are you just seeking to pass the time, or do you have an honest interest in armor craft? What do you do here? Me? Huh, you must be new in Limsa. I'm Hananza, the head of Naldic and Vermelius, Forge Master and Shipwright. I spend a good portion of my time here in the Armorers Guild, trying to hammer my novices into something resembling true artisans. We lost too many of our skilled veterans to that damn calamity. Too many. I see it as my builder given duty not only pass on the techniques of the armorer to the next generation of artisans, but to improve on those processes as well. Tell me about crafting armor. At a glance, working a sheet of plate seems simple. You take your chosen metal, then heat, hammer, and bend until you achieve that desired shape and thickness. There is, however, much more to the process. An armorer needs to learn how to work materials of varying hardness, such as bronze and iron, and shaping them into gauntlets, shields, and helmets is no easy task. You must direct your blows with strength and surety as would a smithy, but an armorer needs something a smithy doesn't, delicacy. Without that, it wouldn't be long before tiny flaws crept in to compromise the defensive strength of the plate. We make works of art with flame and steel, and there's never a day that I'm not damn proud to be an armorer. I've been thinking much about ships these past days, and you know, I don't believe Limsa would be the nation she is without them. Could you imagine how that would affect fishing, trade, naval defense? All those vessels are constructed by skilled armorers and smithies, so if you think of Lominsa as a ship, you might consider such artisans to be the sturdy keel on which the rest of the city was built. It is true that a powerful rivalry exists betwixt armorers and smithies, but it is not a constant born of spite. Our guilds will soon lay aside their differences and work together on a large commission such as, say, warship. That's not to say there isn't the occasional squabble, of course. My son has flown the nest, and I know not of what has become of him. Each day I buy more fish than I need, that I might have a meal to feed him should he wander back through our door. The lowlands of Lenosha await you on the other side of the Tempest Gate. If the Zephyr Gate is the sweet breath of the gods, then I suppose the Tempest Gate is the violent wind from the other end. Felt the wind that comes in from Arabi Bay, did you? Fit to hold chestnuts. No wonder the gate back there is called the Tempest Gate. Soothing the savage siren. Okal Kea has advice for any adventurers headed to the missing member. If you're looking for a place to wet your whistle, Scrag, I'd advise you to turn tail and run. Captain Boseman's in no mood to be entertaining customers that stay, and even when she is, she ain't particularly good at it. Though, maybe dealing with the customers is the sort of shit what might shake her from her doldrums. But if you mean to venture inside the missing member, you best remember to pay your proper respects to the captain, lest he ain't afraid of going missing. Keep kneeling before would be a good start. what brings you to the missing member, Scrag? Think you can just waltz in and hobnob with the sanguine sirens? Well, you're fool enough to try, so be it. Just watch your tongue round Captain Roswin. Last man that didn't, well, is a member no more, if you catch me drift. Greetings and welcome to the missing member. No, really, all people are welcome to dine here. There is absolutely no danger of dismemberment. Guess it's an all-female crew. Captain Roswins led the Sanguine Sirens to the top of the food chain in Limsa. You want to join the meanest crew on the sea, then you'd best bloody your cutlass and thicken your hide. The hell's you want, Drylander? We're closed. If you don't want me sirens to toss you out on your ass, show some respect and kneel, Scrag. Oh, so she knows her place. Good. If only the Krakens had the same sense of propriety. Bastards keep seizing every galleon ship before we can take a crack at 'em. 'Tis a sorry state of affairs when your crew's reduced to preying on the leavings of that mangy bunch of man-boys. Me younger self would be right disappointed to see how far we've fallen. Can't you see I'm wallowing in self-pity, Scrag? You can't possibly understand how disappointed I am in myself. So you do know something of me pain, but your sympathy ain't worth more'n a pint of piss. It's well and good we got the Admiral's permission to capture galleon ships, but what's the use if you keep on getting beat to your prey? We built our reputation reaping right off the coasts of Vilbrand, not sailing a dozen moms into a bleeding sea. The few Imperial dogs found in Lominsa territory get snatched by Krakens hunting in open waters. I rallied my crew's spirits when I said we were riven the old ways, but after all our struggles, they seem resigned to letting those bastards have all the fun. There's got to be a way to rally me siren spirits again. Huh? You trying to make light of me dilemma? Don't push your luck, Scrag, or I'll gut you with a hook, like a regular pirate. Wait, that's it. We're pirates, goddammit, so we should think like pirates. Bugger keeping limits in water safe. We'll raid supply shipments to the Garlean outposts along the coast of Aldenard. Ha ha ha! It's so bleeding simple. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. Thank you for your unintentional inspiration, Scrag. To think I'd almost had you fed to the sharks. You won't find no mollycoddles or ministers in me crew. Just real buccaneers but know how to stand up for themselves. Far cry from Carvelin's band of dandies. Make no bones about it. I gather your meeting with the captain went well? I could hear her cackling all the way out here. Well, whatever you did, thank you for doing it. Last thing we needed was your going on another rampage, ruining deck swabs and leaving us with less meat. Tain't easy playing by the Admiral's rules, but if anyone can find a way, Captain Roswin can. This is Maelstrom Command. If you're expecting an Andel tour of the facilities, you'd best look elsewhere. I am the official charged with the bestowal of sanction upon our members. As you are not one of us, I am afraid you cannot avail yourself of these services. We of the Maelstrom do not jest when we say, "Till sea swallows all." The soldiers of our company fight until the very last breath, the very last drop of blood. Are we chained by those words? Nay, it is a freedom in which all who join our ranks learn to exalt. Only members of the Maelstrom are allowed to exchange storm seals for goods and services. This is Maelstrom Command, headquarters of Limsa's Grand Company. Our doors are open to all who would fight on the side of order and justice. I commend your enthusiasm, but the Maelstrom has no need of one so raw. Come back when you have forged a reputation for yourself. Ah, look at that sunset. Beautiful. Bismarck wants fresh lamb, does it? Gods, I could do with a slice myself, fresh off the grill and dripping in its own juices. Sorry, Fred. I haven't had a single bite to eat since my shift began. Eddie Road, you can get lamb easily enough by hunting the lambs that graze outside the city. Go through the Zephyr Gate and follow the path east and south for a bit. You'll run into a fluffy and tasty critters before long. Beyond the great Zephyr Gate of Lominsa lie the midlands of Lenosha. The gentle wind that passes through the gate is said to be the sweet breath of the gods, carrying life and fortune. This here's the Zephyr Gate, the great threshold to Lominsa, when to dry the sweat on our brows and cool the fever journey, eh? I'll come back to you. Welcome to Lominsa. If there's aught you would like to know, feel free to... You got something for me, you say? A missing persons list. I'm not sure I follow. Missing persons list. A disturbingly long list of people who have gone missing in recent moons. Thank you for bringing the list. I'll be sure to memorize these names. If any of the missing persons reappear, you can count on me to spot them. Most folk enter the city via the Zephyr Drift, which means they must pass through Bulwark Hall. That's why I'm on constant watch here and undercover so as to keep an eye out for suspicious activity. I've been doing this for so long, I've become a pretty good judge of character. If there are shady characters skulking about, you can rest assured I can pick them out. Welcome to the heart of Limsa, the Musen Mast. It houses the airship landing, the Adventurers Guild, and, at the very top, the command room of the Admiral, from where she keeps a watchful eye over limits in air, land, and sea. I stay the streetlight. Tenmo needs help keeping the city a bright and cheery place. Sounds like you're already in the Yellow Jackets' good graces. You truly are a model adventurer, a paragon among your fellows. Do you think you could do me a favor? You see, I'm supposed to go and fill up all the street lamps with oil so that they'll stay lit throughout the night. But thanks to this business of missing people, I can't simply up and leave my post. If you could tend to the street lamps in my stead, I'd be eternally grateful. Oh, and when you're finished, please fetch more oil from Sissipu in the Fishermen's Guild. We're running low here, and she has care of our stores. The crow's lift will carry you up and down the tower as fast as the crow flies. You need only speak with Gretfar and tell him where you wish to go.
Oh there, adventurer. How fare you on the all-welcoming streets of Lominsa? Aye, the open arms of city gather in some rough-looking sods, but under all the grime and cussing, they're basically decent folk, for the most part. You have any troubles, the Yellow Jackets are here to help. I'm the hired captain of the Orion. She's a fine vessel, true, but a hired captain can love his ship only as much as a paid bride can love her betrothed. A ship of my own is all I have ever wanted. Was a gill away from buying one when the calamity struck, but how can I complain when so many lost so much more?
Elderways. Jonasum of the Bruguier Consortium seeks the services of a conveniently unoccupied adventurer. Excuse me, miss, but might you have a moment or two to spare? You seem the type who enjoys being accosted for menial tasks, and I require someone to make a delivery to the dutiful sisters of the Edelweiss. I wouldn't be surprised if you hadn't heard of them, as sisters prefer not to advertise their presence here in Lominsa. They do, however, provide a rather unique service of which the Bruguier Consortium has recently been the beneficiary. I would have you deliver this package to their doorman, Lawnwood, along with our profuse gratitude. You'll find the dutiful sisters convert down near Fisherman's Bottom. Pray deliver the package to the doorman, along with the sincere gratitude of the Bruguier Consortium. Just because I, Bongo Zongo, preside as second chair over the Bruguier Consortium does not mean I have the time to consort with all and sundry. Street lamp oil. Fuel used to light the street lamps of Limsa. It reeks of fish. procedure. The goblin merchant, Sweetnix, appears to be in some distress. Shka. Sweetnix is a beauteous gobby and craft-smart tradesmaker. Sweetnix makes busy deal with uplanders. Need deliver letter to Gate of Melvan, but Sweetnix has shiver shakes. Uplander walks to Gate of Melvan for Sweetnix. Uplander delivers letter to Tax Lady Taja. Shka. Sweetnix write many letters, but never find right words. Greetings, adventurer. Do you wish to an explanation of ethereal travel? I am here to answer any queries you may have. Let's go up. Have you had any luck obtaining the fresh lamb? Please hurry. The guests are arriving any moment now. Fresh lamb. Lamb meat so fresh it still smells of the mother's teats. 4 slices of fresh lamb, and right in the nick of time. Thank you ever so much. 'Tis times like this I feel fulfilled in my role. I used to be a chef myself, you see, but my skills weren't quite up to par. So when the Bismarck expanded operations, I asked to be made as provisioner instead. This way, I can still be part of the business in spite of my shortcomings. Welcome back. It would seem both samples were rather well received, and this is in no small part due to our affordable courier. 'Tis unfortunate, but notoriety accumulated over the course of years does not fade overnight. There are many still who are hesitant to do business with savage pirates. Yet the old days of piracy have passed, giving way to a new wave of opportunity. My crew and I have decided to embrace this wave. With the Admiral's blessing, we engage in a form of trade with Garlean ships. Everything we do, you may rest assured, is within the law. Ah, so you slew a few rats. Good on you, lass. This bloke comes through the other day and plops this huge sack the size of a bleeding gooboo on the counter, saying any man what slays rats can have some from within. When I inquires as to why, all he says is that the damn noise they make when scurrying about is driving him insane. You ask me, though, he was already a bit touched. Some tells me the poor lad'll never find peace. This is bulwark hull, the lowest level of the mizzenmast. In case you aren't familiar with the nautical term, a bulwark is the plating that prevents waves from swamping a ship's decks. Replace waves with hordes of howling beastmen, and you'll get an idea of the purpose for which this chamber exists.
Deemed that love and fishing are not so dissimilar in definition. Why, neither fish nor maid can be caught without a carefully considered cast, after all. But though I have spent many a season in polishing my poles to perfection, ever are my advances avoided by the objects of my ardent affection. Aw, I want to do fishing as well. In time. Chuchuru's mouth waters at mouth-watering fish from waters. Without the Fishermen's Guild, the pullers wouldn't have a place to gather and discuss issues like setting a wholesale price for fish or organizing repairs for waterfront facilities. And since we started taking in foreign fisherfolk, the existence of the guild is especially important. Aside from teaching these outsiders the ways of Limsa's waters, we all get a chance to learn new tricks from one another. We're doing what? What am I to do with that girl? She has the nerve to ask me for work, twaddle and tripe about her savings, only to foist it on the first adventurer that comes along. Being young and pretty does not give you license to shirk responsibility. Aye, she'll get her oil all right, and a piece of my mind to boot. I like Sissipu. Back in the water, Sissipu of the Fishermen's Guild wants to order a new fishing boat. The calamity really knocked the wind out of the fishing industry's sails, but fisherfolk are starting to return to the seas once more. It's past time I did the same. But before I can put out to sea again, I need to have a new boat built. Our guild has always commissioned Naldic and familiars for its crafts, but they are beastly busy these days. If you want for something to do, mayhap you could run over to the Armorers' Guild and consult with Forgemaster Hananza in my stead. I would know how long we might expect to have to wait. You've sunk to Fisherman's Bottom, a place for fishermen. You can't go lower than here. What do you do here? I'm Sissipu, the Guildmaster. Well, technically acting Guildmaster. The actual Guildmaster, Wawalagu, apparently has better things to do than administer a guild, and so it falls to me. In hindsight, the thought of a fisherman neglecting his duties shouldn't have come as such a surprise to me. What does a fisherman do? Our guild members live by a simple code. We catch fish. From serene seas to roaring rivers, from large lagoons to puny ponds. Where there are fish to be fished, the Fishermen's Guild will fish them. Fishing with nets can yield a fair haul, but requires a ship and trustworthy ship hands. Since you haven't access to a vessel nor any apparent friends, we will not concern ourselves with nets. Spare the rod and spoil the adventurer, as they say. You'll need not an army aboard a dreadnought to catch a fish. You will need only a rod and your wits. Quite fitting for a self-sufficient adventurer like yourself, do you not agree? After all, what sort of adventurer wants to browse the nets for hours upon hours when you can be enjoying the great outdoors with a rod and reel? Our guild has a fine collection of live fish in the pool there. It's always squirming with the latest catch, you see. And when the sea has been unkind with your bounty, I just drop a line in all sneaky-like and find whether we're having ain't it. You steal fish from the pool here? Well, I must admit that the variety of the catch found in Costa del Sol pales in comparison to the teeming fish markets of Lominsa. And if one were to consider the dilemmas inherent in transporting freshly caught cargo from a city, it may prove wiser to employ fishermen directly at the manor. Do you happen to know if the guild here is willing to hire out individuals talented with line and lure? Hi, this is the Dutiful Sisters of the Edelweiss, a house of deep reflection and meditation. So unless you have proper business with us, you can kindly bugger off. Package for the Dutiful Sisters. A plain wrapped box, unmarked save for the words Dutiful Sisters of the Edelweiss. What's this then? A parcel from the Brugger Consortium, eh? Let's have a peek inside. Oh, walnut bread and ginger cookies, and a few of them Bismarck finger sandwiches, too. Them consortium calls know the right way to show appreciation. Some of them sisters have unholy appetites, so I'd best save a few bites for myself before I take this inside. Ahem. You let just name know we're always here should her boss have need of us again. So that's for the Rogues' Guild. They say these pirates know how to swing an axe, so I've been looking for a fight to hone my own skills. Some captains claim to have the biggest, toughest pirate crews in Limsa, but no bastard makes that boast before the gathered axes of the bloody executioners. We've been to the very edges of the eastern seas and plucked treasures from the holds of imperial ships. These other scrags ain't naught but piss and wind. So was that the captain that was up there by the seagull statue? This here's Hawkers' Round, where east meets west. The place bustles with buyers and sellers both.
Kyokyo Rune select best selection prices for shoppers to shop. Customers custom is truest truth.
The reopened ports got the foreign merchants flowing in, then the merchants got the people flowing in, and now Hawkers' Alley is overflowing again.
Me? Why, I am but a humble servant of Master Mudamix, charged with aiding those who wish to avail themselves of the power of materia, but lack the skills to do so. If you would know more, mayhap it would be best if you sought out Swinebros at the bonfire in Central Thonland. All vessels that make use of Limsa's ports must submit to a cargo inspection and pay the duties incurred. Please direct all inquiries and complaints to the front desk of Melvin's Gate. Please, not another word. If I am ever to become an official assessor, this training exercise must be the focus of my full and undivided attention. The carbuncles. Salutations. Do you come with questions? Are you perhaps perplexed by the nature of Arcanima? What do you do here? I am a Thubergam, and it is my responsibility to manage the Arcanists Guild, while our guildmaster tends to other matters. We receive regular reports on his research into advanced Arcanima. Thus, I am disinclined to be overly critical of his inconvenient absence. What is Arcanima? The roots of Arcanima can be traced back to esoteric calculations practiced by the people of the South Sea Isles. It was their efforts to express the nature of aether in mathematical terms that gave rise to the exacting science that we practice today. These definitive formulas are represented by arcane geometries, patterns that allow arcanists to manipulate etheric energy and produce specific effects. The ability to shape this energy also allows practitioners to manifest arcane entities known collectively as carbuncle. This is perhaps the most defining power attributed to the art of Arcanima. Where is Sweetnix with those import records? Without the proper documentation, I'm afraid we shall have to expel him from the city. Letter from Sweetnix. The only thing written on this slip of parchment appears to be a mess of squiggly lines and randomly positioned ink blots. Why, these are Sweetnix's records. Glad I am to see that they were submitted in time. Honestly, you would think that Goblin would have lost his fear of our offices by now. Every month he is to submit these papers, and every month his tardiness forces me to consider his removal. As long as one follows proper procedure, Limsa is quite welcoming of foreign traders. Pray convey these first to Sweetnix. Perhaps it will aid in soothing the poor goblin's fears. Duty calls. Taja of Melvin's Gate needs help collecting duty on imported goods. Here at Melvin's Gate, we inspect all the goods that are imported into Lominsa and collect duty as the law requires. Some merchants, however, seek to evade this obligation, and we must chase them down. I would be grateful if you could deliver these 2 ledgers, one to a man named Suntimal, whom you will find at the Octant, and the other to a woman named Letitia, who works at the Bismarck. If you are uncertain as to the whereabouts of the Bismarck, ask Suntimal when you meet him, and he will point you in the right direction. All that would pass until Limsa must first pass through Melvin's Gate. We levy excesses and disallow contraband for the welfare of the market. Trade can only be free when buyers possess the necessary assurances. Without the rule of law, the streets would be overrun by traffickers and cutthroats. Being a customs officer often feels like a thankless job. On any given day, a dozen strangers will accuse you of high-sea robbery. I must constantly remind myself that what I do is for the good of the nation. Good for what ails you? There is a hectic flush of panic on Dodozan's face as he looks wildly about Hawkers' round. Oh my, oh dear, my cask of ale is gone, and it had to be the one ordered by someone who doesn't brook tardiness. I would bring the matter to the Maelstrom, or perhaps seek help from the Yellow Jackets, but my client would likely frown on involving anyone official. An adventurer such as yourself, though, would be capable of doing a little unofficial investigating. Will you find the stolen ale for me? It was right outside Fisherman's Bottom. Someone surely saw something. What's that? You would have the client's name? Oh, none of that. Discretion creates opportunities. Now do go to Fisherman's Bottom and make your inquiries before this cold of mine grows worse. By executioners. I was most pleased to discover the attitude of acceptance towards beastmen traders here in Lominsa. My fellow Uldan merchants openly despise such savage peddlers, you see, but I believe there are opportunities being missed. The Mamolja, for example, are a hardy race that hail from the lands to the west, and their skill at arms is their primary export, a quality source of mercenaries if you ask me. The bulging packs of the goblins, they often contain naught of value, but it is worth sifting through the junk for that one rare treasure. And the keycairn? Look no further should you wish to trade for ore or gemstones. Is this person okay? They're dead. The right price. Swosblate, the master merchant of Hawkers' Alley, wants you to look into current market prices. You, Miss Venturer. I have work for you. I would have you pose as a customer and survey the market's current prices. Surely I did not see you balk at so simple a task. All you need do is strike up a conversation with the shop owners and glance over their wares. There are 3 merchants that interest me: Iron Thunder, Kyokurun, and Sinil. Write down all you see on this price list and hand it to Bansing on West Hawkers' Alley. He shall reward you for your service. The east and west arms of Hawkers' Alley hold within their bustling embrace all manner of wondrous wares and exotic commodities. Our merchants keep their shelves well stocked and their prices reasonable. Spend but a moment to browse the selections, and you will find much at which to marvel. I may be here on business, but I do so enjoy visiting foreign ports. Lominsa has a character that is quite unlike that of my native Ulda. The lure of the exotic is indeed irresistible. Uplander delivered letter to Gate of Malvan. Uplander has white heart and swift legs. Tax Lady Taja has kind backwards for Sweetnix. Sweetnix has outflow of joy for Tax Lady Taja. Sweetnix is happy gobby, gives Uplander chickly shine.
A ledger from Malvin's Gate, you say? Log Assessor's Ledger. This booklet, penned by a log assessor from Malvin's Gate, contains the names of merchants who have yet to pay the duty on the goods they imported into Limsa. Yet more outstanding duty payments. When will those merchants ever learn? Very well. If I catch sight of any offenders, I shall drag them to the gate, kicking and screaming if needs be. One more ledger bound for the Bismarck, you say? Follow this path to the upper decks and you'll find the place.
You delivered the package as I requested? Very good. I shall pass on the sister's sentiments to my superior. What manner of services do the dutiful sisters provide? Continue your stay at Lominsa and you'll likely find out soon enough. In fact, if you're confident in your abilities and comfortable with unconventional, you might wish to approach them yourself. Tax evaders among our patrons, you say? Goodness me. I dare say this may well put an end to their appetite, but this is in the best interest of the city-state. If any of the merchants named in this letter come to dine with us, I shall see that Malvin's Gate is notified without delay. A new boat for the Fisherman's Guild. I'm afraid now isn't the best time. You see, we have recently taken on a commission for a galleon. This task alone has all our hands full. But look, I will see what I can do. The Fisherman's Guild has long been one of our best clients, and I would be loath to disappoint Sisyphu. It may yet take a while, but I shall endeavor to have her boat ready in a timely fashion.
Well met, lass. Cast your peepers over these beauties. Not a spot of rust to be found. Every piece fresh from the forges of Naldik and Famelis.
Kyokaroon welcomes. Welcome, customer. Kyokaroon loves his lovely trade. Kyokaroon's goods are goodly made.
A fine morning to you, miss. What can I interest you in? Why, you seem interested in most everything, don't you? Is this another one of those investigations? Well, I have nothing to hide. You're the one that, made a list of wasplet? Let's have it then.
Price list. A piece of parchment containing prices from shops and stalls all over Lominsa.
Nothing wrong with the market as far as I can tell. You're oftentimes get pirates selling stolen goods at cutthroat prices, and that drives the numbers down right across Alcris' alley. Thanks to these reports, though, we can tell at a glance that when shady dealings are taking place. Good work, lass.
After a cask? Well, can't really say if it's your cask, but there was a big fella come by recently carrying one. He asked me if I had smoked mackies, what would go down nice with ale. Tain't the only thing I know neither. The louse wore black, and you know what that means, the Blade Executioners. I already said more than I should. If it's some business with the Bloody Executioners, best leave it alone. Did I see someone walk off with a cask of ale? Why, sure, it was during the afternoon offloading. Fella didn't look like a thief, though. Hoisted the cask and walked right on over to the Astalicia. I have to admit, the whole thing looked above board. All out in the open. The fellow wasn't acting like any kind of thief I've seen.
Looking for Dodozan's cask of ale, eh? Aye, I'll help you. Dodozan ain't a bad sort for a swiven trader. There was a topper come asking after the cask. Wanted to know if it was ale, the poxy fool. Reeked of rum and puke, that one. Not no kind of working man, and you know what that means, round these parts. What are you looking at? This is a dance duel. A dance duel. Much more important than anything you got. Much more important. May be able to scamper up the rigging to the crow's nest, but you can get down. Not for a siren's teeth, you get great clodhopper.
Begging pardon, Captain, but there ain't no Mikado alive heavier on her feet than a great gluten rodent such as yourself.
Well said, Captain. Above retorted you blaze stunt seeker, or was you a moo keeper? What other lands they got there? Bah, whoever cares, am I right? Who are you, anyway? There was a whole passel of you before, but now there's only one. That's a miser's chick, isn't it? Nope, nothing worse than a miser. Those horsens, but was a mad girl, admiral. What was his name? He didn't like no drinking nor dancing. Bad for corals. Corals? It can't be right. Corals. Ha! Course you're right there, lassie. Should never doubt myself. Anyway, this Madrill, I'd call him Madrill, pinch fist, and passed decrees like they was farts. He decreed no dancing within the hands of reach of spirits. But no Madrill's smarter than a sailing man. We just stopped reaching with our hands altogether. We invented step dancing. That showed Madrill pinch fist and his corals. Aye, that's right, lassie. Gets me all fired up, too. Makes you think, like, oh, I know, you want to dance. All this time, I just thought you was being churlish, but... No, I insist. Dance first, talk later. That's the way of it. If I must. Why you cage a sea fox? Dance like a sound folk you do. Because swear there was 3 of you. Or was I just... Never mind, you's practically a sister now. You ask me anything. A cask of Dodazon's ale? Carried it off from Fisherman's Bottom, my very own self, I did. As to matter of fact, we'd already drunk all we had aboard. Of course, Dodazon's getting paid for it, someday. Don't make a difference if he frets a night or two, eh? Why, you reprobate horseman, that's the tail of that cask he lugged in? Blackguard, you dare call yourself a bloody executioner, all hugger-mugger about what belongs to who? Dodazon has the cause not to mule about the colors we wear, and you play him for a fool? I'm sorry, Cap. Wasn't thinking it through. Got to fix that, too. It's what they call coral film. Adventure, I beg pardon for my man. I swear, Limlane mistook him for an oyster and gave him grit for brains when she made him. Since you're already here, how about you square our account with Dodazon? Take this payment to him. We'd be much obliged. You danced with us and all, so I'm trusting the guild won't inspire any moral failings in you. That's some long keel on the cilia, if you take my meaning. There you are, not a moment too soon. Did you find my ale? Dodazon's payment. Money owed Dodazon by the bloody executioners for the delivery of ale. Huh? Well, that's the price I was to receive, but where did you get it? Oh, from the bloody, from the clients themselves? I see. Yes, there's always some blustery young fellow like that. Hasn't earned his swallows or stars yet, I wager. Kazu say? Captain Moonsuke is kind to say so, I'm sure, but I hail from Molda.
We trade with anyone if they've got guild to pay. Pirates, princes, they're all the same to me. And if I know these particular pirates, and I do, they'll be wanting another cask soon to drink away this little fracas. Many thanks, adventurer. Alright, now to the main story. Those are pretty dresses. Greetings, madam, and welcome to our fair city. If you would permit me to examine the seal on the missive you carry. Letter to the Admiral. A letter addressed to Lominsa Admiral Merwood Blufisman. Yes, everything seems to be in order. My apologies. We cannot afford to be complacent, you understand. Please step this way.
Enter. I did not expect the Gridanian envoy to be an adventurer. It speaks highly of your character that the Elder Seats here would choose an outsider to represent her nation's interests. This way. I bid you welcome. I am Melvin Blufisvin, Admiral of Limsa Lominsa, and Commander of the Maelstrom. Now, what news from the Black Shroud?
A memorial service to honor the fallen. Seven hells. Has it been 5 years? 5 years since the Garlean Empire sought to wrest Eorzea from our grasp. It was in answer to the imperial threat that the city-states formed the Grand Companies and forged the Eorzean alliance anew, but Garlemald was not content to wager all on a simple contest of martial might. They had other plans, the Meteor Project. The Gatus Nail Van Darnus, Hell's taken, intended to cleanse our realm by snatching the lesser moon Dalamud from the heavens and casting it down upon our heads. Desperate to prevent this lunatic scheme, we marched our forces to the Cartano Flats, and there met the 7th Imperial Legion in battle. Never have I seen a fight like the Battle of Cartano, and I have seen full many. But though we gave no quarter, spared not one ounce of effort, we could not prevent what followed. From inside the shell of Dalamud came a winged nightmare, a dragon the size of a bloody city. 'Twas the elder primal Bahamut, bent on making an 8th hell of Eorzea. In the space of a breath, the legions of the Empire were set aflame, while our own armies fared little better. 'Twas as if the whole world was burning. Words cannot well describe the scene. And yet, by some miracle, a few among us were spared. Even as I steeled myself for death, a blinding white light enveloped me, robbing me of my senses. When I regained them, the dragon was gone, and the still smoldering land was warped beyond all knowing. Were Archon Louisoix still with us, he would doubtless shed some light on these unfathomable happenings. Alas, he is not, and I fear we will want for his wisdom in the days to come. For while our nation struggled to recover from the devastation, the beastmen called forth their damned primals to torment us anew. Unless we put aside our differences and rebuild now, our foes will catch us unprepared. And I speak not only of the beastmen. Do not imagine that the Empire has forsaken its claim on Eorzea. The Imperials crowd our borders, waiting to strike. Damn it all, we need champions to replace those we lost. But such thoughts are worse than worthless.
Time is short, and none will save us save ourselves. It is the duty of every soul who has survived the calamity to work together for the good of Eorzea, and this memorial service may be the very thing to unite us. I, Kane Sana, has the right of it. I accept her proposal. Your duty is done here, adventurer. I will see to it that the Elder Seer receives my reply. You travel next to Old Da, yes? Pray give my regards to General Raban. Oh, and tell him the wolf has been sniffing around the stables. A private jest and one in poor taste, but I would have you tell it all the same. Fare you well, Bella. May the navigator guide you on your journey. What business have you with the Admiral's lift? Tea and crumpets on the bridge, is it? In possession of a permission paper signed by the relevant authorities, are you? The Admiral's office quarters are no place for sightseeing. If you seek the Drowning Wench, try the crow's lift over yonder. Alright, thanks for joining me for this exploration of Lominsa, the pirate city. Next time we will go out into these starting zones and do some exploring there. Alright, bye bye!